So a common issue that I've always had in making props, things like that, is trying to get the dimensions of the thing. And anymore, something I had learned in an art class I took a couple semesters ago, something that I'd learned was that using proportions instead of actually trying to get actual dimensions is a much faster and actually a lot better way to get your results, unless you're trying to make something that is just 100% accurate, or unless you have designed something and you know what measurements you want. That's fine. But in something like this, the image on here, I have the size of my shield, which is probably not the same size as the shield that they made, the size of this shield. So it's got the same shape and everything because I'm trying to replicate it for me. So I made it to what the size that I wanted. So now the problem is, though, is that I have the lion's emblem that I need to get on here. So you could do all these crazy measurements, which I've done before, these crazy math techniques, and I'm no good at math. Then you do all this stuff, you find out the dimensions of that. That takes too long. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is use a very simple artist method of measuring things, and that's just using my finger and a pencil. So just go on, measure it. So we'll measure the height of the shield. I think we got it. So, I found out that the height of the lion emblem on the shield is just about equal to the width of the shield at its widest point. And then I measured roughly the width of the lion emblem altogether, so including the tail that sticks out and then the arms that are outstretched. Measured that. That's about 3/4 of the size, because it took about 1.5 of them to equal the height of the lion emblem. I believe that's 3/4. If I am wrong right now, I will fix it later, because I'm gonna know later. If I mess up the measurements right now, I'll know later. But for right now, I'm pretty sure that that's the right dimensions. So I measured my shield, and it's 19.5 inches wide at its widest point. And then I did the math and found out that the total width of the lion emblem should be about 14 5/8 inches. So let's get to drawing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was lazy and I didn't draw it out. I grabbed a photo offline and scaled it to the proper length, size, whichever one you want to do. And before you go telling me in the comments, hey, his foot is cut off, I know. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, so what we're going to do next is we're going to have to cut all this stuff out, and then I'll just put it together with like some masking tape or something, so that way we have a complete template. I've discovered that I think the best way to put this emblem on and all the engraving and everything is to actually engrave it into the shield via wood burning. I would have preferred to cut it out of something. However, looking at this is going to be really hard to cut out of something. So I don't feel like beating my head against a wall for 3 weeks, so I'm not going to do that. So we're just going to burn it in with some wood, or with a wood burner, burn it into the wood. I'm tired, I'm getting all frazzle-brained here. But we're also going to have to get some templates drawn out and such for the rest of the scroll work that's inlaid into the different parts of the shield. That's going to be a process and a half. Not just drawing it on, but actually burning it in. I don't want to think about that right now. But yes, we're going to have to get that done. But that's going to be later. That's going to be after we put this emblem on. Because this is the main emblem. Because if you look at the actual shield here, you can see that the lion emblem kind of covers some of the panel lines on the shield. So if we put those on first, then the lion emblem isn't going to cover those. So we're going to have to put the lion emblem on first, and then put the other ones on later. So, good stuff. But that's going to be it for the day. I have some other things I need to get done. Plus, I'm really tired. I know it's still daylight, but you know, doing this stuff will wear you out. I promise. So anyway, we're gonna call it quits for the day, but we will pick up bright and early tomorrow morning. All right, so it's the next morning. So the next step in this process is going to be cutting out our template. You can use just any regular scissors or anything like that, but for me, I like to use an X-Acto knife. I have a lot more control over it, whole 9 yards. So we're going to cut this out, including our little foot here, so we can put it here, and then we're going to tape it all together. Let's go. And for any of you out there who are wondering, yes, I am left-handed. Go lefties. been long, almost half an hour. But we finally got all the pieces cut out. And in case you were wondering, yes, this does hurt my back and neck. So if you guys ever tried anything like this, don't blame me when your neck and back start hurting. I'm kidding. Anyway, so next what we're going to have to do is line these pieces up and tape them together to make one whole template. So real quick, as you can see, I kind of messed up on the template when I was printing it out and everything, but it's too easy. We can fix it. I just put some tape over that area, so tape the two pieces together, and then I just penciled in the lines where I want the shape, and then I'm just gonna cut the shape out just like that. Now we have the rest of the template. This might be a little too long, but we'll see. But you can see though that even if I made a mistake, it's easy enough to fix it. So just always bear that in mind. Alright, bada bing, bada boom. We have our template. Oh, the tail's supposed to stick out. Now we have our template. Now it's not 100% accurate. You know, I made some mistakes here and there, but remember, this isn't the final piece. That it's a template. So once we get this traced onto the shield itself, we can make adjustments and stuff like that. So nothing's final even in this stage. So always remember to be flexible if you ever try building anything like this, or if you want to follow along. So just always remember, everything's flexible, and if you make a mistake, it really isn't that hard to fix it. So the next step is to trace this onto the shield and get a good solid kind of template of the entire shield drawn on there, so we'll know what to burn in. So let's get to it. Welcome back. So that was very long. So I only captured me drawing on the lion and doing one half of the pattern. I only caught that on camera because then it was a very long process of copying the one side of the pattern, not the lion, but these other panel lines in here, essentially these here, copying that and then putting it on this side, making templates and putting it on this side. The whole pattern as a whole is not 100% accurate. In fact, isn't even 100% symmetrical either. So I think I kind of messed up on the actual grinding part and everything. So this shield isn't 100% symmetrical, but you really can't tell. So I'm just gonna roll with it. And before, because I know there's gonna be that one. Before you get in the comments and tell me, oh, this isn't 100% accurate, blah, blah, blah. Bruh.
I know.
Like, seriously. There is no way I'm getting the scroll work done up in here and down here. Like, there's no way I'm doing that by hand. Okay. But anyway, on a whole, this thing is ready to get burned in. This pattern's ready to get burned in. And also I have the pattern done on the back as well. Because the funny thing was, when I got this done, I'm like, alright, yeah, I got it done, it's ready to go and everything. And then I remember there's a pattern on the back. So I sat and cried for a couple minutes about not wanting to do it, and then ended up doing it. So I was tired of drawing lines at this point, but you know, I quit crying and drew more lines. But anyway, so we got the patterns ready to go. These are ready to get burned in. Fortunately, I don't have time to do it today, but we will get to it tomorrow. And welcome back. Alright, so now that we've got our pattern drawn out and everything, it's time to burn it all in. And I decided to do something that's kind of fun, to give it a little more depth and everything. And what I'm going to do is these, the line that, such as the outline here, I'm going to burn that in with a thicker chisel on the wood burner. And some of the other stuff, I'm just going to, I'm going to use a thinner chisel, or a thinner tip, and do it that way. That way we get some variation and everything, but it's going to be a long process. I'm not the best at wood burning, but heck, let's give it a shot. Let's go. Alright, well that was a bit of a long time, and I only kind of got one side done, and not very well, not as well as I wanted to get it done. So I'm encountering a problem, and that is in some areas the wood burner just will not burn into the wood. It'll kind of scrape across the surface, but won't actually burn deep into the wood like I want it to. Actually, plug this so I don't burn my fingers off. So that's a problem, and it's kind of hard to control this thing because you can't grip it like a pencil or something, you know. So I'm going to try another technique using some itty bitty files that I have, and I want to see if that's going to work out any better or not. I mean, hey, never know till you try. Okay, I lied. I'm going to use some bigger files too. Well, update on the method now using the files. This is much better. This is getting into the areas nice and deep, and it's doing it, I would say, a little bit faster than the wood burner. But then again, I did have the advantage of kind of having some areas already burned, so there's kind of already a channel for me to run this through. But I think this is going to be the better method overall. I think it's going to take I'm not too sure if it's going to take longer or shorter. Either way, it's going to take a long time. But I think this is just going to be the better method used. So I guess we'll continue with that. Well, let me tell you guys a story. So I got the border of this all carved out via using my file, my rat tail file along there, and it's pretty good. I like the way it was. But then I started in on this on the main pattern itself, and I completely forgot I had a router bit for my Dremel, so I just used that, and it worked out fine. Now, just remember, if you guys are out there making stuff like this as well, just remember, pro tip, it's not going to be perfect. This isn't perfect. I think it looks really good, but I can see where my hand wandered and such, and I had to go back and fix it and everything. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm not an expert, especially not with a router. I haven't used one for very long, but you know, just go slow, kind of learn as you went. I did. You can kind of tell where I first started, and then you saw where I was getting more experience, and then saw where I was getting a little impatient because my hand hurt, and I've been doing it so long. But anyway, we got the bulk of this done. Here's a bit of a better shot of it. I don't know if you can see the carving on there or not, because a lot of the black lines are removed now because it got all eaten off by the router. But I think this looks pretty good. Did a quick kind of sanding of it just to get the fuzzies from the router off and everything. And then we're going to be sanding it even more and even smoother later. But this is all I'm going to get done for today. And then I'm going to get this done tomorrow. So let's go to tomorrow. All right, welcome back to tomorrow. Or I guess today is tomorrow. Either way, welcome back. So now I'm going to take my Dremel here with my router bit, and we're going to carve into the back of the shield here. See you on the other side. Now you notice that I put this towel down just now, and the reason why I did that was because as I was grinding on this, I just didn't feel comfortable with all the work that I'd done on the underside getting scraped on by this concrete. So I just put a towel down just to kind of help protect that. I doubt it would really make that, don't think it would damage the carving too much, but I don't want to take any chances, especially after all the time and work I put into it. So that's why I did that. We got this done, and once again, it's not perfect. I kind of wandered a little bit on a lot of stuff. It's hard to control a tool like this, especially, but you know, for our purposes, it gets the job done. So I think this episode is done. The next episode will be beginning the painting process on the front, and then the wood treatment in the back. I think this will be a four-part series on the shield, because the last part's going to be all the leather work that goes into the back here and such. So I think that'll be the fourth episode. But this episode is indeed done. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do remember to hit that like button, and if you're not already, please consider subscribing and hit that bell for notifications. Also, check us out on Instagram at official Narnia Lore. And I will see you on the next episode of Narnia Lore.